All right. So it's nice to meet you, Paul.
Hmm.
Um, so Paul, we're here because I met you the first time I saw you was at the premiere to seeing it before.
Yes.
Busy Signals prequel to Stay So, directed by Dameon Gayle.
Right.
It was a pleasure to watch, to be invited to that premiere and watch it. Um,
Okay.
how do you feel about the prequel in itself, the movie as a whole?
Um, I feel pretty good. I mean, it's an interesting time that we're in now, especially as it relates to film and television and your ability to work. And so the good thing or the great thing about a project like the one that Damien directed is that even though it's a music video, it allows actors to be able to showcase their talent. So you get, I guess, two for the price of one. You get a song, you get a music video, but you get a mini movie.
Right.
So for us as the actors, we are not necessarily musicians, but we get a foot in the door in the music industry, and people in the music industry get an insight into how we function as actors and an insight into our abilities to perform on film. So it's I feel pretty good, and I'm lucky to be a part of it.
Right. So we normally start this show. We really like to showcase the individual.
Hmm.
So Paul Houghton. So that's your right name, right? Paul
Yes,
Houghton.
Paul Horton.
Horton. I've
Yes,
the
yes.
pronunciation correct, you know, Paul
That's
Horton.
fine. No problem. It sounds like a Hawton, right?
All right. And where was you born?
So I'm born in Kingston, born and raised in Kingston.
And how was you growing up as a child? When did you decide that? Did you ever display acting talents at a young age? Like,
No. So quite honestly, I kind of stumbled into acting, film, television, advert. I started to do it in 2015. So when you think about it, that's just 5 years ago. And I got into it purely by accident. So here's my story
mhm,
in a nutshell. I I am a kind of eclectic personality, so I have a lot of interests. And one of my interests is photography, still photography. And so I tend to take pictures of myself. So one of the pictures I took, for example, and I from time to time would send those pictures just to friends, just to say, hey, I took this picture, tell me what you think. And I would do that from time to time. So on this particular occasion, I took the picture and I sent it to a friend of mine. She was already in film and television, and she would do advertisements from time to time. At the time that I sent her the picture, she was actually on set. She was in the middle of filming an ad. So she was on set and the makeup artist was doing her makeup. I sent her the picture and I was like, hey, I just took this self portrait. Tell me what you think. Do you like it? While she was looking at the picture on her phone, the person who was doing her makeup art, who was also a talent manager, saw the picture and said, hey, who is that? Who is that guy? And she was like, well, this is a friend of mine. And the person was like, you know, I like how he looks. He has a particular look about him. I think I might have a role for him. Has he ever done any ads? Has he ever been in film and television? And she was like, well, no. And the person was like, well, send me his number because I think I might have a space for him in an ad that I'm casting. And that's how it started. She sent the number. The girl called me. I went and did the audition, and bam, that was my first TV ad, which was for a local financial institution, a place called NCB. And I did that, and that went well. Um,
I remember it.
right, so that went well. And then that led to more ads, more television spots. It led to some still photography, some model work, and that's just how it went. But I had never really gotten into acting per se, because I mean, to do a television ad, there is some degree of acting, but it's not at the level of like a film or a full length feature film or a short film. It's you are required to do some acting, and so that's how I got introduced to acting itself by doing it in ads. The director would say, well, we need you to say this, we need you to convey this emotion, we need you to sell this product, and you have to smile, and you have to, and so that's pretty much how I got introduced to the different concepts. And that's what I was doing for a little while. And then the so this is an interesting story now. So my talent agent, she called me one day and she said, Nick Cannon, Nick Cannon, who was married to Mariah Carey, everybody, well, a lot of people know who Nick Cannon is. She called me and she told me that he was coming to Jamaica to film a movie. That movie subsequently would be King of the Dancehall. So, people can look that one up, King of the Dancehall. Um, so they came to Jamaica and there was an audition, and it was a massive audition. A lot of people, because of course this is Nick Cannon, this is an international movie, and everybody who is an actor, everyone who is an actor or who has some acting skill or has an interest in film and television, everybody came for the audition, and so it was like 1,000 people, a lot of people. And so I got to the audition, and when I got there, the audition should have started at 4. I got there a little late, and they were out of numbers, because when you went there, they would give you a number, and then your number would be called in sequence, and you would go in and you would do your audition. By the time I got there, the numbers were done, and I was like, okay. So the guy was saying, but don't leave, because a lot of people are here who are like you. They weren't able to get a number, so don't worry about it. And so I waited, and I waited, and I waited some more, and then I waited some more, and I started to get a little annoyed, because I'm like, you know, this really and truly appears to me to be a waste of my time. And I'd never done any movies before, so I really wasn't, you know, so excited about it. But it was a new opportunity. It was something else to try, and so I said to myself, let me try it. But at the 3 hour and 45 minute mark, 3 hours and 45 minutes after I got there, I said, you know what? I'm done. Doesn't look like I'm gonna be in this movie. This is not for me. And so I went back and forth. When you have a conversation with yourself, and you have one voice on the shoulder and another voice on the shoulder, and the shoulder is saying, "No, forget it, go home." This voice is saying, "No, no, but wait, you never can tell." And I went back and forth in my mind, and ultimately the voice that was telling me to go home won, and I was like, that's it. I've been here almost 4 hours. I'm done. I'm leaving. And so I went. I got up from where I was sitting, and I headed to the door. Now, the thing with me is, when I get angry or when I'm pissed off, you see it on my face. I cannot hide it. That's just how I am. And so I was angry. I was pissed off and I was annoyed. All of those emotions combined. And I was heading towards the door with my pissed off look. And I'm going through the door. And as I am going through the door, the local producer and the person who was responsible for casting locally, she was coming in as I was going out, and she took one look at me and she was like, wait, 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 where are you going? Um, are you here for the casting? What role are you here for? And I said to her, I'm not here for anything, I'm leaving. And she's like, no, 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 tell me, what role are you here for? And I said to her, but it looked like a death. I am leaving. You don't hear what I say? I have been here for 3 hours and 45 minutes, and no one has called. I have not been able to see anybody. This is not for me. I'm leaving. Me done. Me I got me out. And she was like, no, 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 no. Don't leave. And she's British, so she speaks with a British accent. She's like, no, 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 don't leave. Wait, 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 wait.
We
We're
don't
gonna
talk
see.
like that.
So, well, she did. So so she was like, no, no, don't leave. No, there's a space for you. Don't go. And the little voice came back, and the little voice was saying, see, you see, this is why you should wait. This is the value of patience. Wait. So I said, okay, all right. And so I turned around and I went back inside, followed her back inside, and I sat down and I waited. And more people went in, and I waited. More people came out, and I waited. More people went in, and I waited. I wasn't going anywhere. I was still sitting in a corner. And 2 hours after, she told me to wait. I heard someone come out because you're in this big auditorium,
Right.
this seating area, and then you go into another room to do your auditions. And so there are a lot of us, as I was telling you, a lot of people came. By this time now, I'm there 5 hours, almost 6 hours, split into two blocks. I waited 3 hours and 45 minutes,
Right.
and then I waited an additional roughly 2 hours. At the end of that 2 hour mark, I heard someone come out of the room in which you went to do the auditions, and they came out and they said, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please?" And everyone turns around to look. And she says, "We want to thank everybody for coming. We have seen everybody who we're going to see today. The auditions are over. Once again, we want to thank you for coming. We're sorry some of you had to wait so long." And I was like, "You see it? Watch it. See it? 6 hours wasted. Can I come here and sit down?" And the other girl came and tell me that I must wait and blah 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 blah. And see,
Yeah,
I'm
because she
here.
done passed you already, so you have to
I,
wait for everybody go.
she said I must wait. So I waited an additional 2 hours, and now this lady come out and said, "I'm done with everything. Everybody can go home." So I say, "You see, this don't make no sense, you know." So I got up now, even more pissed off than I was
The first time.
initially, and I'm heading towards the door. The same girl now, same producer. She comes out of the room and she sees me heading towards the door. And she's like, "Wait, wait, wait, where you going?" And I'm like, "I mean, where I go?" Then, your people just come out and tell everybody out here that, "Listen, the auditions are over. We have seen everybody who we need to see. We can go home." So me I go me hard. The same thing when me did I do earlier. When you stop me. And that me I do now. Me I go away. So she's like, "No, no, 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 no. That's not for you." I said, "What do you mean it's not for me?" She said, "No, no." She said, "You're in the movie. We have a part. I told you, we have a part for you." So, so at that point now, because those words kind of sunk in,
Right.
she's like, "We have a part for
Or
you."
two.
And I was like, "Okay, all right." I'm still annoyed, but there's no light at the end of the tunnel because my 6 hours does not appear to have been in vain.
Right.
So anyhow, and other people were there and they are pissing mad because people came there with their kids because they were auditioning for scenes with children and people had brought their children and other people were there waiting and so people were generally just pissed off.
Well, to me, if you was walking out and she was walking in, that means she was 3 hours and 45 minutes late to the venue in the first place. Then you
Well,
wait for
well,
the.
I don't know because I don't know what her schedule was, but I only know that I was walking out when she was
All
walking
right,
in.
you
So
can't say it because you need you need the work, but me can't say.
well, it could be that she may have had other people there doing, I don't know. But anyhow, that
Anyway,
is how it went. So
right,
so everybody has now left. And by this time now she has rounded up four other guys. So there are like five of us who she apparently had picked out, singled out, and told them don't leave. So everybody's gone. They close the place. We are left. And she says, "Come, come, come this way." And so we now go into the room where everybody had been going into earlier to do their auditions. And you enter this room and it's like another smaller auditorium and there are chairs around a stage. And there are a lot of people seated there. People who are involved in production. I mean, local film crew, a couple of people well were in the room. And she says that we should go and stand on the stage. So we go and we stand on the stage. All of us are standing single file. And in walks Nick Cannon. He walks in with some other people, some of his entourage over there. And she goes and she greets him and they have a conversation. And I'm standing on the stage along with the four other guys who were singled out. And so we're standing there and nothing is happening. And I'm looking down in the audience at the people who are looking up at me. And I literally feel like this is a slave auction. And I'm like, what am I doing up here? What may I do up here? What may I stand up here so far? Anyhow, so Nick Cannon now. Why are you laughing? What's wrong?
No. But all you have to say you feel like a slave auction.
Then look here, listen, is a stage, is whole heap of cheer, and people just sit down there and look at you, and you just stand up in a single file. Me no know that's the analogy that come to
It's
my
a
mind.
perfect analogy, but it just deep.
Yeah, well, that is what it was. So anyhow, so Nick Cannon then comes onto the stage and he starts to look at the person. So I am where I am, and there are four other guys to my left. So I am the last person because he starts from my left and he's coming towards me. So he starts with the first person and he's looking at the person and they're literally doing a kind of stare down. And he's looking, the person's looking, he's looking. Me I look on and me I say, but what this? What going on, so? But anyhow, keep calm, keep cool. Cause you know you're not the movie yet, even though them
Never
tell
reach
you,
this all
you not get it yet. So so keep calm, keep cool. I stand up there. Me tired, me hungry. At
you vex.
6 hours now, and me really want to go home. So me just really want you to tell me, all right, me in the movie, where and when me need to show up, so me can go on my yard because me don't know what this whole heap of stand up. Me don't know where this me don't know how this drop in. Anyhow. So with those few remarks, I'm standing there. Nick Cannon walks on the stage and he starts a stare down. How he's looking at the first person. I'm standing there. He moves to the second person and he does the same thing. He moves to the third person and he does the same thing. He moves to the fourth person and so on and so on until he gets to me. Now, remember, I told you that when I'm angry or pissed off, I show it on my face. So you look at me and you immediately know, no, that one is not the one for you to mess around with today. Clearly, he's not having a good day. That's abundantly clear from his face. He's not having a good day. So prudence would dictate that if you are looking for somebody to mess with, you may want to move on from him. All of that is on my face,
Yes,
written in
sir.
black bold print.
Yes, sir.
So I stand up there. This man come and stand up in front of me and looking at my face. Me are looking at him face. Him are looking at my face. Me are looking at him face. And me I said to myself, so my blood is beginning to boil now. And me I said to myself, how I really are going to say? I wonder if it's like Nick Cannon like me. Me don't know how I go on say, you know. But if I that, me not really depend that with him, you know. So you need to tell me what I go on say now because if me have to stand up here for 5 minutes more, me I gonna knock him out, you know, and in here gonna mash up. And then I guess he may have read those words coming from my face, and he bursts out in laughter. He starts to laugh, and he turns to the guys who are seated in front of the stage, and he says, "This dude, definitely, this dude for sure." Those were his words, and that is how I got the part. Turns out that they were looking for the part of a police officer.
A hungry police officer.
Who?
Hungry.
Yes, right. And someone who could be aggressive
They
and
would, yeah.
someone who could portray that aggression without saying a word. So that apparently was what I was able to show them. Poor them no understand. I vex me vex and want to go my yard. So it don't really have nothing to do with no particular acting skill. Me just want to go my yard and me vex and yeah, me turn up every 6 hours. And this is what it look like. So that's how that part. So when you're watching the movie, whoever gets to see the movie, there is a part in the movie where Nick Cannon is riding his motorcycle and he's riding through a section of New Kingston. And you will see a patrol car, a police car drive up behind him and we turn on the lights and we signal him to stop. And he's pulled over and I am dressed in a police uniform along with another one of the actors and we get out and we kind of rough him up, you know, we take him off the bike and we throw him up against the wall and we search him and we find a gun, an illegal gun, and we find some weed and we take him to the police station. So there's that scene and then there's one other scene now where he's being released from the police station and that's where he and I interact again. So I walk up to the jail cell and I tell him that he's being released and then I lead him out to the person who collects him at the gate. So that's how that went. So that was my first movie.
And how did you feel once the movie was made? Once you was on set working, once the movie was made and once
Well,
you pitched it to the
so
production?
so it's funny when you're on set working. It's pretty much just work. You show up, you go where they tell you to go, you do what they tell you to do, and then you go. It's it's funny. You don't really get a chance to get excited about it at
Yeah.
the time because at the time it's just work. When the movie is finished and they start to do the editing and you may see clips of the movie and then the promo start, that's kind of where you begin to get excited because then you begin to see what the movie might be like and you get an appreciation for all of those scenes. Well, for me, because remember, no, I didn't have a background in acting. I didn't come through the stage. I didn't have all of those things. So for me, the excitement came at that point when you saw clips of the promo or you saw snippets of the movie and you now understood why you were standing here and why they shot it from this way, and you begin to put all of that together and you get an appreciation for what might be. That's when you get excited. And then sometimes that excitement is kind of tempered because movies sometimes take a very long time, because that movie was shot, I think, in 2017 and it wasn't released until sometime after that. So what tends to happen is that life goes on. You go, you do the movie, and life goes on. You move on to other projects, and then you're kind of brought back to it when they start to promote it, and you start to do promotional things, and you hear about it, and then your mind goes back to the movie and the scenes that you were in, and then you kind of get a little excited about it again. But generally speaking, you do the work, you go, you show up on set, you do what you have to do, and then you leave, and then life goes on, and you move on to the other project, and that's how it goes.
Okay.
So that was Nick Cannon. That was King of the Dancehall, first movie. Grateful for it because a lot of people, not many people can say that they have been in a movie.
Yeah.
I at least I'm able to say that. So that was the first movie I was in. So we move on. We continue to do because as I said, movie comes, you do the work, movie goes, you continue to do other work. So my work primarily was advertisements. I would do a lot of ads. People would call me, I would go on audition, or some people would ask for me directly, depending on I apparently I had a particular look because I have this white beard and it apparently is some kind of distinguished look and what have you. But for one reason or another, people would ask for me and I would go and do an audition and I would get the role or I would be called to do the role. And that's pretty much what I went on doing. So do ads, do some film, sorry, do ads, model work, what have you. Same talent agent again. She calls me one day and she says, I want you to do something. And I said, what is that? And she said, I want you to prepare an acting resume and email it to this address in the UK. And I'm saying, okay, why am I doing this now? She says, these people are looking for Jamaican actors and they may be coming to Jamaica to shoot a movie. So I want you to send them an acting resume. And I said, okay, one more question though. What's that? What is an acting resume? And she says, go and Google it.
Mm-hmm.
Google it, figure it out, send it. And she hung up the phone.
Mm.
And I was like, okay. So it turns out that that was the production company, Studio Canal, and they were looking for actors for Idris Elba's movie, Yadi. So of course now this is major because this is People Magazine's sexiest man alive, Idris Elba, A-list Hollywood actor. And for his first directorial debut, he chooses to make a movie about Jamaica. So it's a big thing. All eyes are on this movie and the process involved in leading up. So she says, send the resume. I don't send a resume. I don't send none because I'm like, listen, I, there's no point in me sending a resume because I had doubts. Because as I said to you before, most of the actors, the well-known actors in Jamaica, and the well-trained and the very good actors, these guys have pedigree. These guys have gone to drama school. these guys have acted on stage. They have done many um, stage plays, and they have done mini series on TV, and they have acting chops and pedigree and history. I do have that. I've done a couple ads and
No, but you have to remember, I mean, I kind of know how the story goes, but I'm gonna
right,
let you continue.
right.
But
So,
just to prove a point, that's all.
mhm,
Sometimes you can have, all right, even working in employment,
right,
you can have somebody with degrees and
mhm,
masters and certifications coming out of their ears.
right.
And when they go to apply for a position,
Mhm.
it's the other person that gets it because the other person is more experienced or just has a natural talent or a
Right.
natural way of.
Well, I would come to learn that sometimes, and this has been my experience since I've been doing it. So sometimes it has nothing to do with all of the things I thought were important.
Right.
Sometimes because like I remember going to do an audition and someone went in before me and they did very well. I mean, they they were able to nail the characterization and they were able to nail everything. And when they left, the producers were saying, "Wow, that guy was great, but if he was just 1 foot taller, and that's it,
See? Yes.
that's it. It don't matter how great he wasn't tall enough because they wanted someone that was 6 foot and he was 5'9". Don't work. So but that's something that I would come to learn later. So at the
Right.
time,
You didn't send a resume.
right, I didn't send it. So and the reason I didn't send it is, as I said, I didn't think it made any sense. I didn't send the resume. Anyhow, I'm still doing my ads. I'm still doing advertisements. I'm still doing whatever jobs come my way. Whatever I go on audition for and they give it to me, I go on and do it. Because in this business, you do way more auditions than you get parts for. That's just how it goes.
Right.
And so whatever I would go on audition for and whatever I would get, whatever I would be successful at auditioning for, I'd go and do it. So fast forward now a couple months after, she calls me and she says, oh, by the way, did you send the resume that I told you to send?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, didn't do it. And she's like, what do you mean you didn't do it? And I'm like, well, I didn't do it. And I started to tell her all of the things I told you a while ago, why it never made no sense and why I didn't think I was good enough and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you're really full of shit. I'm really and truly, I'm not happy about the fact that you didn't send the resume because, and I said, I understand that you're angry. I'm sorry. Wasn't really my intention to anger you, but that's just where my headspace was. Anyway, we had that discussion. Life goes on. One Sunday, I'm at home, and she calls me early Sunday morning, and she says, "Where are you now?" I said, "I'm at home." And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, currently I'm lying in my bed watching some TV. What's the problem?" She says, "Put on your clothes and um come down to this location." And she told me where she was. I said, "Why? What am I doing? What's going on?" She said, "Do you remember that I told you to send a resume to this address in the UK?" And I said, "Yes, I remember." She said, "Do you remember that you didn't send the resume?" I said, "Yes, I remember. I recall that we had this discussion already. So what's going on?" She said, "Well, the people are here. They are casting, and I told them about you, and they want to see you. So you need to get off your ass, put on your clothes, and come down here now." And I started to put up some resistance. I was like, "Well, boy, I'm not really sure." And she's like, "Listen, I don't have time. I'm waiting." Boop, I shut up the phone.
Chef and DVD were up because
And I was like, okay. And I thought about it. I sat up in the bed and my wife was asking me, what happened? And I told her what was happening. And I thought about it and then I said, okay, you didn't send the resume. You didn't do what she asked you to do. And she still went to bat for you. She still went out of her way to at least allow you a chance to get a foot in the door. The least that you can do is to get up out of your bed and show up.
yeah.
And so I did. I got up, put on my clothes, went to the location. Well, you remember I told you before that the audition for the Nick Cannon movie was thousands of people. Well,
Right.
this was worse because by now it was in the news that this is an Idris Elba produced movie, and everybody, I mean, everybody. I mean, when I went to the place, I mean, there were cars out on the street and there were people everywhere. And everybody who I knew that was in the business of acting, people who I had seen, people who I had a lot of respect for, people who I was like, that guy's brilliant and that girl is brilliant. Everybody was there. And I saw them and I was like, yep, this don't make any sense. Why am I here? Clearly, this is not for me because these are the people, these are the greats as far as I am concerned. So I am not, I don't consider myself among these people. And so I drove up and I parked and I sat in my car and my phone rings and I answer the phone and she's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm here, I'm parking. And she said, hurry up and park and come. I'm waiting on you. And they're waiting on you. And I'm like, yeah, but Karine, this, and she said, listen, I don't want to hear. Me, I wait. Come on. Boop, and she hung up the phone. And me, I said, Papa Jesus, so this for me, I know. Pressure. Anyhow, so I get out of the vehicle. Now, so let me paint the scene for you. So you walk into the building and you walk along this veranda, which is like a long corridor, and you go to the door in which the auditions are happening.
Right.
Now, there are people leaning on the wall, there are people on the stairs, there are people seated along the corridor. And of course, everyone wants a part because this is a big movie. So there's a lot of anxiousness and nervousness. Every time the door opens, all eyes turn to the door because they're looking to see who comes out and who goes in next and blah, blah, blah. So every time the door opens, 10,000 heads turn like this. So I walk up to the corridor and I'm standing there. The door opens and my talent agent comes to the door and she calls me by name. So of course, when the door opens, all heads turn. She calls out my name and I answer, all heads turn to me because everybody's like, then who is this man and where this man does come from? Because we there from morning and nobody not talk to we yet. And this man does show up and who is this man? We don't know him. I mean, you could, no one said that, but you could kind of read that on the faces of the people who are there. And of course, I'm already feeling pressured. So this really doesn't help. So when she calls my name and I answer, and 10,000 heads turn in my direction, I'm really not feeling so comfortable with all of this attention.
Right.
But anyhow, I walk in, I walk along that corridor and everybody's looking at me and some people are whisper, oh him, where him come from? I don't know him, I never hear about him. Anyhow. So I walk into the room. I walk into the room and I am there are other people in the room. People busy is like a little office space and there are some chairs and this and the person who is responsible for casting locally now, she comes to me, she introduces herself and she hands me a script and I fold the script over. Well, she folds it over and she points to a section of the script that is highlighted and she says, you're going to read this. And I said, okay. And you are going to repeat these lines on camera. And I said, okay. She said, you think you can do that? I said, yeah, I'm supposed to. And she said, all right, you have 10 minutes. Go. And I open the script and I read it. And I'm reading it. And as I'm reading it, I'm discovering that I'm having a difficulty with the way it is written. So here is the problem. So Yardi is a novel that's written about life in Jamaica.
Right.
Someone has read the book and they have now written a script. Contained in the script are conversations that are supposed to be had between Jamaicans. But the person who has written the script is not Jamaican. So the person who has written the script is trying to write English mixed with patois in order to get you to appreciate what the conversation would possibly sound like between two Jamaicans. I mean, I read it and I say, what this don't make no sense. This this don't make no sense. This not follow. So I read it and then I flip it over and I read the first page. I mean, I say, what should I try to say yes, sir? So I read it and but this don't make no sense. Anyhow, not my script. I'm trying to tread lightly. So I read it and I commit it to memory as written. But something is saying, no, this not right.
Mm-hmm.
This don't work. So she comes back and she says, "Are you ready?" And I said, Yes, yeah, I'm kind of ready still." But, and she said, "But what happened?" I said, "Well, honestly, yeah." She said, "Come on, tell me what happened. What's the problem?" So I said, "Well, this, it don't really sound right." So she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, this is supposed to be a conversation between two Jamaicans." She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, we're not talk so." And that's how we talk. So she said, "What do you mean?" And so I turned the script and I said, "Well, here, where it says this person says A, and in response, that person says B, that is not how we would speak to each other." So she said, so for example, if you and I are having an argument, Lee, and I want to, me I cuss you as a Jamaican. Me I cuss you, me I cuss you, Lee, man, go ahead, move up. Me not chatting with you. Me don't want to hear nothing from you. That's pretty much how we would, converse with each other, especially in anger. Me go say, "Go ahead, move up. Me don't want to hear nothing. You chat too much, blah, 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 blah." That's how we would talk to each other. Now, if you are not Jamaican, if you are not immersed in the Jamaican landscape, you don't really know that. There are some things which you have to live here or live among Jamaicans to understand how we would communicate with each other. And the person who is writing the script is trying to replicate that, but they can't because they don't understand. So I am saying to the person, I say, "Yeah, this right here." So, and so we would have said this. We would have said, so she's saying, "How would you say it?" And so I said it. I said, "Well, if I was going to tell someone about their parts, this is how I would tell them. These are the things I would say, and these are the adjectives I would use." And I went on to say it, and she smiled and she said, "Okay, do that." So I was like, "Hold on, wait, 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 1 second. What do you mean, do that?" She said, "Say it like that. Say it just like how you said it on the camera." So I said, "Hold on, wait, breaks, 1 second." I said, "Remember, this is not my script. I am not trying to mash, because a script is very personal. A script is like a novel. Someone
Right.
sat, thought about it, wrote it out, and then you just come now and just change up all of the people them thing like a fear. I'm not trying to get on anybody's nerves. So I'm saying, so I'm a little apprehensive when she said, "Change it." And she said, "No, no, 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 no." She said, "We have creative license. Change it." I said, "You sure?" She said, "Yes, change it." I said, "If me not get the party now, me not, because you tell me say change it and you're going like you have the final say." She said, "Listen, we have creative license. It don't matter. Me, I tell you if you change it. Change it. Say it same way like how you say it a while ago." And she take it up and she turned to another page and she said, "This, read the part here." I me read it. And she said, "You have a problem with this too?" I me say, "Well, yeah, this not sound right." She said, "Well, oh, you would have said this." I me say, "Well, I would say it like this." She said, "Say that too." So she gives me the script and I go in the room and she said, "Here's what you're going to do. You're going to say it like how the script has it written first. And then you're going to do it like how you do it while ago." So me say, with the bad words. She said, "Yes, especially with the bad word them. Same way, so." I said, "You sure?" She said, "Yes, man, same way, so. I saw me why you do it." I said, "Okay, anything you say, boss." So I go and I do it. And I remember after I was finished, I did the first one. And she said, she turned to the cameraman. By this time now, the cameraman is in stitches, guy. He's dying over how me change it up and how it come out. And she said, and she whispered to the cameraman and she showed him the other part. And he said, "Yeah, man, make him do that part too." And so we go and we do the other part. So we do it. And everybody is happy. They love it. They record it. I say my name, my contact information, and that's it. And I remember I was telling you now that after you finish with these auditions, life goes on. So
Right.
I went and I did the audition. They were happy with it. I left. Life goes on. I go back to doing my little ads and doing what I have to do and blah, 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 blah. So this was maybe February. In June, I get a phone call. Um, this is from the talent agent. She said, "Look here, they want to meet you, you know." I said, "They? Who's they?" She said, "The people who you did the audition for." I said, "Which audition? We are talking about?" I remember. February to June, March, April, May, June. This is 4 months later. I don't remember about that. Kind of, I don't hear anything. So I
Hmm.
don't remember about that. So she said, "The people want to meet you." I said, "Which people?" She said, "You don't remember you did an audition." I said, "Audition for who? Who that again?" She said, "You don't remember that you did an audition for the movie that is being produced by Idris Elba." I said, "Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I remember." She said, "Well, they have given you the part." they want to meet with you to discuss the character. Crickets on the phone. Nothing. Silence. So I say, what you say? She said, the man wants to meet you. Me say, me too. Me? She
Agent, pick up
said,
what you know.
she said, the man wants to meet. Me say, me? Meet me? She said, is not your audition? Me say, yes. Then now you, then must you the man want to talk to. So me say, okay. She said, the man wants to meet you. He's coming to Jamaica on X date. The first meeting is at Y time at Ligini Club in New Kingston. I said, okay. And I hung up the phone and I'm like, so she said, okay. I said, all right. And so I went. And if for anyone who has ever, I mean, people meet, well, some people have the opportunity to meet celebrities. And,
Mhm.
different celebrities behave differently. So Idris Elba is a very down to earth, very cool personality. He walked to the meeting. I remember I was saying to somebody, I'm sure that there are people who saw Idris Elba walking on the street and they were driving past. I said, boy, that man, they look like Idris Elba, eh? Because they wouldn't believe that it was him. He walked. He walked on the street, no entourage, no excitement. He walked from his hotel in New Kingston over to Ligini Club.
Mhm.
And we sat and we met and we spoke. I tried not to be too starstruck, tried to maintain my composure, and we spoke and we ran lines together and he explained to me what he wanted from the character and how we wanted it portrayed, and we went through some exchange of lines, and that was it. And that became my second movie,
Okay.
Yardi.
Mhm.
And that was it. I did that. That was good. That was a little bit more exciting. We had to do some promotions for that, and you know, so that was my second movie, just
So,
like that.
so I just wanna hear about, because you stumbled upon acting.
Yes, I did.
So before acting, what was it? Because I know you was a photographer. I know you was doing photography, but was that a hobby? Or
Photography was a hobby. It was a hobby. It's hobby slash professional because I had done some professional work and I
yeah.
actually entered some competitions and got some awards. But in terms of a mainstay, I had a 9 to 5 job. I
Mm.
actually worked for one of the largest security companies in Jamaica because that's my background.
Okay.
So what I went to school to do and the degree I have is in security administration and management. So I work for a security company, do operations and fleet management and stuff like that. So that was my 9 to 5.
Okay.
And as I said, that while I was there, I stumbled into acting, and then I left that job, and film and television has kind of been what I've been doing since then.
All right. And just to let them know about Seen It Before.
Yes,
That was part of, you was the preacher. You played the preacher in that.
I played the minister in that. So how that came about now?
Yes.
So as I said to you before, I had been doing a number of projects. I did ads, did TV ads, did some music videos. The Vibes Cartel music video is a very popular thing, and there was a video for coffee that I was involved in that. So a friend of mine, Kurt Wright, is a director, and he was filming a pilot for a project called Origin, something that they were pitching to Netflix. So he called me and he asked me to play a part in that. While I was playing a part in that, I met Zebek, Jermaine, on the set of that. And we kind of hit it off and we struck up a conversation. We became friends after that. Now, I would see him from time to time, and whenever we would see each other, like we go to auditions for different things. And whenever we would see each other, we'd catch up and we would say, listen, if you hear about anything, call me. And I said, boy, if I hear about anything, I will call you. And so he called me to do a music video for Ninja Man. Because there's a music video, Ninja Man. That's how I met Dameon first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I met Rolo. Because Rolo played my son in the music video for Ninja Man. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
first time I met Dameon and the first time I met Colo Colo.
All right.
So so that's how I met Zebek on the set of the Ninja Man video. And I said to him, listen, as we would do customarily, if you hear about anything, let me know. Call me because I'm looking for different projects to work on. And so we did that. And that's how I got introduced to this music video because when they were filming this scene it before,
Mm-hmm.
he called me and said, "Listen, we have a role for you." And him saying convinced them that they should, take a chance on me. And I said, "Okay, much appreciated." And I went and I did the audition, and the rest, as they say, is history. So that's pretty much how I got into this music video. But my face would have been familiar to a lot of people because of the Vibes Cartel video. That video kind of put me in a lot of people's living rooms and a lot of people's laptop and phone, and I couldn't go anywhere in peace for a long time because of that music video.
And I believe, Joel, you was also in a Vibes Cartel music video as well, wasn't you? You featured in it as well. I saw you twice.
Yes. Okay, so it was I think 2 Vibes Cartel video, but I wasn't really in it that long. I was just like, hey,
Yeah,
and then
you featured. So
yeah.
yeah, so doing that, the Seen It Before. How is Seen It Before, Paul? How is Seen It Before different to the other advertisements you done or the other music videos? Because this is a mini movie or a short film, but it's not at the same time.
Right. So ads are, it's different in that well, actually, to be honest, there are many similarities.
Yeah.
Because so the similarities, you're appearing in front of camera, you're saying lines, you're trying to convey emotion to sell a particular character, sell a particular product, or describe a scene. So those things are very similar. So in terms of what is required of you as an actor, a lot of it is very similar. So to an ad versus a music video versus a movie, the difference is the ad is 30 seconds. The music video is 5 minutes. The movie is 2 hours. So obviously for the movie you're seen a lot more times. There are a lot more opportunities for you to play different roles and to reveal parts of your character. Um, Ads not so much. Ads tend to be very rigid. In other words, the people have a particular concept. They know exactly what they want. They're not necessarily looking for creative license or
Yeah,
creative exploration from
yeah,
you. We have a vision. We think that you can sell that vision, but sell it so.
yeah.
Do it so. So those are ads. As I was saying to you earlier, the beauty about this particular project and projects like it, because you have regular music videos which are like fluff. People that drive pretty car and spend money and pop bottles and blah 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 blah. That's pretty much par for the course for music videos. This is different in that this brings some of the storytelling skill sets from a movie, scales it down, and puts it into a mini movie and sets it to music.
Right.
So the beautiful thing about that, as I said before, is that if you are an actor and you are looking to showcase your skills, not a lot of movies are being made now. There's not a lot of work being done in theater because no one can go to the theater. Theaters are not open. This is a good way. This particular format, this
Right.
music video slash mini movie format, is a very good way for you as an actor to showcase your skill. It allows people to see you demonstrate your skill, to see you sell a particular role, to see you demonstrate a particular emotion while still listening to the song.
Right. Right.
Because the thing about this, when I watched it, you kind of get caught in between watching the movie, trying to follow the story, and listen to the song.
Mm.
So you are taken on a seesaw ride in between the two. You're trying to follow the story, you're listening to the song. You're trying to see if the song actually follows the movie, if it makes sense. And that's the beauty about it, because you can't help but see the skill set of the person in front of you. You
Right.
can't help but see it, and then you try and tie that into now the song to see if it makes sense. And so that's the beauty about this particular format.
Okay. All right, Paul. So
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming to the closing now. We've been on here quite a while, and it's been a pleasure listening to you. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. I have a theme on this show, because I believe that God gives everybody a purpose.
Right.
So what is your purpose? What is your message that you're sending to the world?
Um, Hmm. Don't get pigeonholed is the first thing I would say. Um, don't don't get pigeonholed. What do I mean? My 9 to 5 job is security management. That is polar opposites to stage, film, television. And I move from that into stage, film, television. Now, if you were to ask me if I would see myself on stage or in film or in television, I would tell you no. But I would tell you no because I have on blinkers. I'm looking at what I'm doing. I'm looking at this as my life. And I can't necessarily perceive anything else. So I would say to people, don't get pigeonholed. Don't get confined in one space. Explore other things. See if there is something else out there that you could be good at, that you could do in addition to what it is you're doing now, because you never can tell what doors might open and what you might experience. So that's the first thing. Second thing, don't doubt yourself. I suffer from that. I doubted myself. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think that I was better than anybody else. Um, but there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. So watch that line. But at the same time, don't doubt yourself. Try new things. Try it and see first. Don't assume that you can't do it. Instead, assume that you can do it and then just work out how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So those would be the two most important things that I would put out in the universe.
Thank you, because I'm glad you said. I'm really glad you said that, because I was coming to speak to you about that. Because the several times that your agent called you and you're questioning it and you're questioning it and you're thinking about it, I'm so glad that you understand that and you're already there. And
Well,
so,
I have been accused of that, that I tend to overthink some things. And sometimes, especially in this particular space. So this, in my other space, it's a logical space. It's
yes,
a very rigid logical space. And that's what I went to school to learn. That's how you're trained. You're trained to be very logical and rigid and analytical.
yes,
And in this space, it's more creative. It's more a feeling. And sometimes you have to just go with it, even though it don't make any sense. You go with it anyway and you see where it goes, because that's the nature of being creative.
yes.
Creative does not necessarily follow any particular logic. It just happens. So
Thank you very much for the interview today, Paul. It's been a
no
pleasure
problem
speaking
at
with
all.
you.